Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I are playing the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The campaign is Horror on the Orient Express. It's available from Chaosium. I'm the Keeper of Arcane Lore, and this is episode 59. Our recap will be given by Keith Craig as his character, Gunter Block. So without any further delays, let's continue our journey into the darkness. Keith?
Right. From the Journal of Gunter Block. This journey has been hell. Sometimes I wish I had never met Professor Smythe. Since he has called us to London to attend his lecture, much has happened, including the loss of two of my best friends. While we were in London, Smythe was attacked by the Brotherhood of the Skin. When we cared for him, he told us that we needed to find the Sedefkar simulacrum and bring it to Constantinople to destroy it. It had been broken up into many pieces throughout the history, and he was worried that the Brotherhood of the Skin was searching for it. Fortunately, it had some clues on where to begin the search. We found the first piece in France, an arm. However, it is at that time that we caught the attention of the foul devil, Viscount Janaver, who is actually just an alias of Tilius Corvus, a Roman leader from the 4th century, and also a vampire. Who knew that Bram Stoker was correct? Tilius Corvus, or Janaver as we'll call him, He followed us along this journey, illuminating all the threats that we encountered. He was assisting us because it is easier for us to collect the pieces and then for him to get them from us than for him to do the work himself. Dr. York left us in Italy, and we just recently found out that Janaver killed Dr. York after he left. He was of no more use to him. We found other pieces in Italy, Romania, and the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slavs. In Lausanne, we acquired the Scroll of the Head. However, we need the others, which we believe to be in Constantinople, to figure out how to destroy it. We are sure the Brotherhood of the Skin are catching wind of us. After all, every city we've went in, and we've caused quite the scene and maybe disrupted their cult. We'll have to watch our step while we're in Constantinople. Last night, Dr. Dabrowski paid the ultimate price. He was killed by that beast Janaver. Me, I'm kept alive by the blasphemous work of the Mem Sahis, a dagger that upends God's design for human healing. Janaver, he continued to taunt us and demand the Sedefkar. He yearned for it like an opium addict yearns for his next hit. We reasoned that if he was a vampire, there must be a crate of soil on the train and that it would be stored in the storage compartment. We headed that way with the help of Henri's son, and were able to ward off the creature with the heart and the Mem Sahis and with some wolfsbane. We found the crate, and there Janaver attacked. He grabbed Dabrowski, and may I forget this sight, he ripped my friend in half. Blood went everywhere, and Dabrowski was beyond the capability of even the Mem Sahis to heal him. We got our revenge against the foul beast by killing it, by cutting him open with the Mem Sahis and shoving the heart of hate into his chest, where he burned away. I don't think I'll be able to rest again without a strong drink. Oh, we're arriving in Constantinople soon. Maybe I won't be able to rest ever.
So the aftermath of that, we won't go into all the little details, but of course there's an investigation when you get into Adrianopolis. But along with Jean-Marie, the people on the train are of the belief that you guys are heroes. You have saved them from terrorists and once again kept the train going without too much disruption. Nobody was killed. Actually, was somebody killed? I can't remember.
Yeah, there was. There was a
We lost a few guards.
One of the guards, yeah.
Yeah.
and Dabrowski.
And Dabrowski. So as you are, is there anything you want to do before you come into the station? You are approaching Constantinople. It's mid-afternoon. You can see the landscape changes a little bit. You can see the ocean out over the horizon. You can see that there's more and more and more buildings as you're coming in.
I'd like to. So sorry, I just completely talked over you.
Oh, okay. I want to verify that we still have all of our pieces of the Sedefkar simulacron. I
You do.
want to make. Oh, excellent.
Yeah, you have all the pieces. How do you have them? You have them all stored in the bathroom.
In the central room, like we had, because we had adjoining. So,
Okay.
And then we wore them into battle because we feared that Yanavar would go and retrieve them if we left them for a moment. So in the aftermath, I assume, since we are in storage, perhaps we each put a piece in a trunk and we'll be taking care of Dabrowski's worldly goods.
Right.
I wonder if we have information of a lawyer for him or something. We have to deal with his family
Yes,
at some point.
when I was thinking about those arrangements, if I don't make it, I have prepared a will and a final letter to my wife. So if you gentlemen live and I do not, you can find that in my steamer trunk to mail home.
Yeah, very good. I think this is a precaution we should all take at this point.
Yeah.
But usefully also having Dabrowski's trunks makes it easier for us to pack each piece of the simulacrum separately so they don't communicate in whatever means they have.
All right. So I think I gave you a bonus for killing Janavar. Or did I?
Don't
That I did. Maybe I
think
didn't.
we received anything.
I don't think that you would get any sanity back because it was pretty horrific.
Yeah.
But I think maybe over the course of the next day or so, once you're resting, you will get some back. Tomorrow is Sunday. It's currently Saturday. You will get your refresh. Now, in addition to that, every day, let's go over this really quick. Who has the head?
I have the head. I'm in charge of the head.
Okay. Who has the body? That's Gunter.
Oh yeah.
Who has the left arm? That's now in Theodore's control because it was in Dabrowski's.
Yeah. So
he was the second.
So that'll give both the right and the left arms to me then.
So you got the right. Who has the left leg?
Gunter has a left leg, I think, and I have the right.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So every day, what I want you to remember is if you have the head, you're going to roll an intelligence roll when you wake up in the morning. And that is going, and if you fail it, you are going to have a headache, a pretty bad one. If you have the body, every morning, I want you to roll a constitution roll, or you will be stricken with nausea. If you have the left arm, you'll do a dex, and if you fail, you get the shakes. If you have the right arm, you'll roll a strength, and you will be a bit enfeebled, so you won't be able to lift heavy objects. Left leg is you have a constitution roll, or you will lose 2 points from your move. You'll be limping. And the right leg, you'll roll a dex, or you will experience shooting pains affecting your balance.
Well, since the battle with Corvus was late in the night, early in the morning, and then we suffered through the investigation, and as I just rolled 99 for my intelligence, I have a splitting headache. Don't ask me any questions.
Yeah.
How bad does it? I'm just kidding.
So you're fatigued and you are in some difficulties. So let me show you really quick Constantinople. Which this is our map of Constantinople. It's basically in 3 parts. You've got Stamboul, you've got Pera, and you've got Scutari, which is also called Uskadar, across the Bosporus. Most of the ancient big complexes like the Topkapi Museum and the big churches and mosques are at the end of Stamboul. The hotel that you're going to is in Pera. It's the Pera Palace. And that place is a little more European over there than in Stamboul. But there are a lot of sights to see. There's the Grand Bazaar. There's the various mosques, the basilicas, the Hippodrome, and the British consulate in case you need something, the railway station, and so forth. But the railroad comes in across the bottom of Stamboul, following the coast, and it goes up and around the little tip there. So you get a spectacular view of the city as you are approaching. Looking out one window, you see the Sea of Marmara and the Bosporus, and out the other window, you are seeing minarets and domes and palaces of Byzantium on the other side.
Such opulent travel and such a beautiful view, and yet I feel nothing but a crushing dread in my heart.
Istanbul, Constantinople, it'll still be called Constantinople by Europeans until the 50s. But you know that there is some unrest. The Turks are currently under British rule. They were under French rule before that. They don't like the British and the French at the moment. And that's why it's safer to stay over in Pera. There's been little violence other than some physical violence. No, there's been a few shootings, but that's pretty rare. Ataturk is on the rise, and he will, in the future, this year, I think, that the Treaty of Lausanne will be signed, the British and the French will leave, and Turkey will become an independent state that will take, or an independent country that will take over control. But it is an extremely cosmopolitan place. It is filled with people of every country. It was one of the largest cities on the planet at one time, so it remains so. Traveling around it, however, is never been easy. There was never anything more than horses and carriages when the city was constructed. So there's very few vehicles. There might be a few taxis and buses on the largest streets. And the city is notable for the fact that half the streets end in dead ends. It's almost labyrinthine. So you got to kind of know where your way around. Even the people that live there get lost. Greatest pastimes for people living there are coffee houses or tea houses and public the baths. Women are almost never seen in either one of those. There's theoretically baths for women, but women tend to stay home and off the streets. So it's very male dominated in the city. However, most other foreigners tend to enjoy a pretty good hospitality walking about. You guys are Americans. They like tourists. So, well, the Grand Bazaar has anything you could ever possibly want. It's a very interesting city. That being said, you have a very strong admirer named Jean-Marie Peters, who thinks of you as superheroes that are fighting off the devil and all of his minions along the way. And he warns you. He says, now, the Wagon Lee company that runs the train is very good about making sure that all of your luggage is properly transferred. However, this is the end of the line. This is where there's a fairly large crime rate, and things going missing at this stop is a fairly high thing. So he's not going to absolutely promise you anything, but he is going to personally make sure that your luggage and everything in it gets to the destination.
And the Para Palace itself has good internal security?
Yes, it does. It's European run. On that side, there's a large police force of white Europeans. There's also a Turkish police force. They're not so good, and they have been known to misuse, especially British people. That's mostly on this side in Istanbul. So he says, be careful. There's places in the city you don't want to go. If the crime is there, they were going to try to take advantage of it. You don't carry large amounts of money with you. Try to dress down when you're on walkabout, because if you're dressed really rich, you're a target. And pickpocketing is everywhere, so be careful. Keep your passports safe. So as you pull around, you're pulling around the eastern end of the thing. You can see Hagia Sophia, Blue Mosque. You can see Topkapi Palace on the end there. And you pass around those and you pull into the train station, which is Circasia Station. And it's exactly as Jean-Marie described it. There are 1,000 people right outside the train, up and down, the people getting on trains, people getting off trains, luggage piles, lots and lots of people in turbans and fezzes that are very happy to help you move your luggage around, but sometimes you go that way and luggage goes that way.
Yeah.
So, but you can see the valiant efforts of the Wagon Lee people, the Orient Express people, making sure that packages, and you can see Jean-Marie there, just like guarding your stuff with his life as he, makes sure that it's going to transit. A number of carriages pull up, and he tells you they'll take you to the Para Palace. It's across the bridge. Okay. It's across the Golden Horn. Is there anything you want to do while you're in the station?
Mhm.
I'm just on the lookout. I mean, as you said, there's crowds of people.
Yeah.
Um, but I am paranoid at this point. So I am trying to keep an eye out for anybody that seems a little too interested in us.
And there are, of course, beards and mustaches
'Cause
everywhere.
if they've been following our progress, I wouldn't be surprised if they have somebody watching the station at all times. So
You can see that that's a double-headed, a two-headed sword, because or two-edged sword, because they're watching everybody, and there's 1,000 people.
that's true.
So
That's true.
it's
It's
they're
easy for them to
probably
hide, but it's
noticing.
easy for us to hide.
Yeah,
So
and you're not the only people getting off the train. So
Yeah.
Is there a local paper in French, Italian, or English that I could grab?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there is.
Okay, so I pick up a current local paper.
So you get one in English that happens to be there.
Yeah.
Printed by the Brits for the Brits. And are you going to look at that while you're traveling?
Yeah. I'll peruse it, when I don't have to be on guard, when I get to a safe place that I can.
Once you're in the carriage, it's going to take about 20-25 minutes, because traffic is slow. You're crossing the bridge. I think it's the Galatia Bridge. And as you go. So go ahead and do a library roll or a spot hidden roll.
Certainly. Let's see here. There it is. Okay. Oh, look at that. Is that my first fail of the day? Yeah, it is. 70 out of 66.
You want to spend the 4 points?
Do it.
Okay. All right. I will do it.
Okay. You're glancing through it. There's a few bits of it that are in what looks like Persian script, but most of it's in English. Lots of stuff about what's going on back home, international news and things like that. But since you're probably looking for weird stuff, you get a shudder down your spine as you notice this article.
Oh my. Rash of missing children. Police suspect slavers questioning of Greeks. Today, the 15th missing child was reported from the city area. Blatek Maval, age 7, was taken from the front of his father's tea house in Istanbul yesterday at midday in the midst of bustling lunchtime traffic. Police have no immediate suspects, but believe that a slave ring is responsible. Citizens of the city are alerted to watch their children carefully. In a roundup of suspects, the police are interviewing many Greeks following a report that this country may be the receiver of the stolen infants. My Lord.
You get the feeling from other parts of the newspaper that the Turkish relationship with the Greeks right now is very bad. So lots of derogatory stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say this is like, this sounds a little bit more like racism than good, but yeah.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that the real culprits aren't really all that far. If their patterns of behavior are indicative of anything, they do tend to like having spare parts around, so to speak.
Yeah, although they can't, abuse children's faces for their own, so they might have a more ritual intention.
Or maybe what if if this is, of course, I've stopped believing in coincidences a while ago. It could be their method of recruitment in a way.
Mm.
Well, I also remember the people we read about in the 1890s when they got to Constantinople. Some children were kidnapped then also.
That's right. Do we have a sense of where that mentioned tea house is, or completely
No.
clueless?
There's probably 500 tea houses in in Constantinople. And they're very popular. You can do an intelligence roll.
See here. Oh, now we're cooking.
Oh, 4.
Oh, not that good.
Well, glancing around at it, you seem to you can kind of come to the conclusion that the children who are being swiped are probably in the lower poverty, areas. In which case they list 15 children, but those are just the ones that have been reported.
Oh, yeah. So this could be 3, 4, 5 times as many.
Yeah, considering that nobody trusts the police, or that the police don't give an F,
Yeah.
It could be much larger than that. So you go across the bridge, you go through town, you can see now some of the architecture has changed a little. There's more European architecture. However, there's still always old buildings, old domes, old Byzantine structures that are around. The remnants of statues and buildings that at one time may have been beautiful. You can see churches, Christian churches that have been converted into mosques. That's fairly common, and lots and lots of domes. And you pull up to the Para Palace. As is Agatha Christie's favorite.
Ooh, beautiful.
And it is stunning on the outside and the inside as you go inside.
And they have an indoor swimming pool?
No, I don't know that they do.
I'm sure they must. Place of such finery.
I don't think that swimming is that popular, but
it's fairly novel in the 1920s, I think.
Yeah, steam rooms are very, very popular in Istanbul, in Constantinople.
Before we depart, we were in a carriage or a cab.
Yeah, you were in a carriage.
So the driver, I just ask if looking at the newspaper, do they know of has this tragedy been unfolding anywhere near here, or do you know roughly whereabouts this is taking place?
Do a luck roll.
Oh, nice. Right after I used it. Bingo! That's a hard success on luck. That's less than half.
The driver barely speaks English. But he says, I think, it's a big city. There's lots of people, and there's lots of crime amongst the less fortunate. He doesn't really know if that statistic is high or not, but it is kind of new news.
Yeah, worth a shot.
And he helps you out. It takes your luggage hasn't arrived immediately, but you know that the luggage is on the way.
Good.
You go inside. You have been pre-booked into the Para Palace, and you can tell me you want like the 3rd or the 4th floor.
Well, now that there's no longer a insane, multiple thousands of years old vampire hunting us down,
Yeah,
I don't know if the 4th floor is now actually could be harder for somebody to get to. unlike our flying friend. I guess that's what I'm trying to imply. Maybe the fourth, the higher up, the better.
The highest floor.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll say that you're on the fourth floor. And you just have 401, 402, 403, and 404, or do you want rooms together?
Yeah, maybe sharing rooms might be good. I don't like peeling off separately if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's get 2 doubles with an adjoining door so that if we have an emergency, we can all get eyes on each other quickly.
Okay. And you can decide which rooms you want, who you want, how you want to bunk together. So your first scare comes with the fact that you keep waiting for your luggage.
Huh.
And roll. Let's see, we'll have Theodore roll a 6-sided dice.
A 6-sided die. Okay, here we go. All right. We are ready to impress. A 2, whatever that means.
Okay. Fortunately, in 20 minutes, your luggage is brought up to your room. You look it over, nothing is missing.
Excellent.
I can finally breathe again.
Mm-hmm.
It's now, because you were delayed in Adrianopolis, we'll say it's around 6. So the sun is setting, the city is coming alive with lights, and hustle or bustle outside continues.
Does Jean-Marie Pierre, is he there he delivers it? He's part of the group?
Jean-Marie Peters probably made sure that it got to the front door of Para, where
but
the
he's
bus
not there.
boys took it. And then he probably had to go back to the train.
Oh, I'm thinking about rushing out and stopping him. What do you think? We really trust him. He knows his way around here. He would be a great guide. We have tons of money. What happens if we offer him a gob of money to be our guide here?
That's putting him in a lot of danger too.
That's where I was thinking.
All right. I'm just thinking we could really use someone we could trust that knows this place. But yeah, I see what you're saying.
I feel like
I'll tell you that he would be tempted, but he's literally trained for years to be on the Orient Express. So that's really where he'd be giving up his entire career.
Yeah.
Not to mention his family legacy.
I have the feeling that if we need a guide, well, we're going to need different guides for different parts of the city. I'm sure somebody at the British consulate can help us to some degree, but depending on...
It would be nice to contact some academic who knows some of the people we have met in the last week or so, someone who has established a reputation and therefore probably is not a member of a maniacal cult.
Well, we need to go to... Smythe's had some stuff put into a bank box, yes?
Yeah. And I was trying to remember that his encrypted telegram. He had trouble in Prague. He was on, but did he not hope it? He felt Constantinople was too dangerous for him to enter. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
because when he with the the group with the blood red fez, he was there, so he's known by the cult. So,
but we
But
do
at
have
this point, though, so are we. We are just as recognizable to these people as he is.
well, you can certainly try to find where the hell he is and write him a letter to tell him that. I don't think Smythe will be much help to us at this point.
No.
If he is to be trusted at all, honestly. We don't know what exactly he has been up to or experiencing.
still not completely at this point, except for The three of you, I don't know whom in the world I have any faith in.
Well, I mean, we'll drive ourselves crazy wondering who we can trust. I think the academics, that's probably a good way to take. After all, we believe the scrolls are kept in the museum. Trying to find that telegram so I can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we will probably need assistance with translation, with bureaucracy. Also, I assume that by this time on Saturday, we will not be able to get into a bank until Monday. So we'll do some street and museum research first, perhaps, assuming that they open museums here on Sundays. I don't know local custom.
I think the high holy day for Muslims is Friday, isn't
It
it?
is, yeah.
Friday into Saturday, yeah.
So it's Saturday now. Actually, things might be open. Um, the literacy level in the city is higher in some places and lower in others, but it's still quite common to use a scribe if you don't know how to speak the language or read the language or write the language.
All right.
I meant to say write the language.
As I was unpacking my trunk, I found that telegram. Smythe he was able to get 2 scrolls in Prague, and he sent them to a safety deposit box in the Imperial Ottoman Bank. And he gave us the deposit 51332. And also the other scroll, he suspects the other scrolls are in the Topkapi museum shop, and they'll not be on display because the Muslims find them blasphemous. So maybe having that academic, there might be a way we could actually see them.
No, I think I find these scrolls pretty blasphemous myself.
True, yeah. Yeah.
Wonder, Daruda, if you have a contact back in the States that could reach out to someone local.
I mean, I am a theologist. I mean, I study religion.
Mm-hmm.
I might have a contact here.
Yeah.
Maybe.
There's the museum and there's the university. Yeah, they're both there.
Yeah, so I can go to the university, and again, the cover that I've been using all along the way is that I'm on sabbatical doing research for esoteric Eastern religious cults. So I think I should be able to get somebody at the university to help me out.
Yeah. Hasn't let us down yet.
So
It's
now
true. If
that
it hasn't
you're
failed
here,
yet, it could never fail.
now that you're here, and you are quite exhausted, and it's mid, it's early evening, 6 or 7, as it's going on. Do you want to eat, and then what will you do?
My appetite still hasn't come back after seeing what happens to Dabrowski. So.
Yeah. I wondered maybe if there are some medicinal baths. My head is splitting and we didn't really sleep. I wouldn't mind having a schwitz and maybe some of the baths, despite the prevailing religious sentiment, might provide some sort of brandy or something. And then maybe with some steam and relaxation, we'll have enough appetite to gather strength for tomorrow's activities.
So how would you like to find this out?
Yeah, we
Concierge.
go and sniff around the concierge. There are probably a few people at the desk. Maybe one of them seems brighter or has better English or German.
Uh, they speak fluent English. They are, in fact, British. Um,
Oh, the
yes,
staff
sir.
here is from yeah.
Yes, and if they're not British, they're speaking perfect English in the Palace Hotel. Yes, sir. May I help you?
We have had an unusually taxing journey despite the quality of the Orient Express, and would like perhaps to find some steam house or natural baths, but maybe provide a little refreshment.
They call them hamami here. Yes, they're quite
Hamami.
popular. They're all throughout the city. Although it's not quite what you might be used to. They will. There's a whole protocol to follow when you go inside. Maybe he has a printed out list that he can give you of some of the local ones, the recommended ones, but it is literally, it's bathing. You'll go in there. He says there'll be a place for you to lay down. Someone will come over and massage you and wash you, and then you can sit and sip tea and then enjoy the hot, steamy room, and then clean yourself off and feel refreshed.
Yeah, I think I still have a little blood behind my ears, frankly. So that sounds refreshing. Is there a place? Do you have a favorite place or somewhere you want to know staff or anything?
He gives you a piece of paper that he's got a map on, and he points to one that's fairly close. Just down the street and turn the corner, and you'll see it there.
Right.
And he says, but now, do any of you speak Turkish?
Not a syllable.
He says, well, you might get lucky. There are a lot of people here who do speak English. But you might want a translator or someone who can read the signs. Most of them are still in Persian script.
Mm-hmm.
Difficult for Westerners to read.
Yeah. Does the Palace have recommended guides, that sort of thing?
Not particularly, but they're if you've heard of the Grand Bazaar, you can find pretty much everything. There's a whole section with scribes, and a lot of the population can't read or write, so any kind of documents they need, they go to the scribes and have the scribes write them up, and for the right fee they'll follow you around and help you out.
Also, between the group of us, we speak a wide variety of languages, so hopefully we'd be able to land on one of them.
Yeah. In terms of getting along with the locals and the different colonial circumstances after the Ottoman Empire ended, do you think German is a friendlier language to local ears than English or French, or all Western European tongues considered somewhat suspect?
I mean, we were allies, the Germans and the Turks.
No?
It depends on who you're talking to.
Yeah, of course.
Over on this side
experience.
of the Golden Horn, you shouldn't have too much difficulty using English.
Yeah, but to go to the Grand Bazaar, maybe if we approach in German, they will be friendlier?
Yeah, possibly, yes. Yeah.
It's to consider. Thank you.
In the Grand Bazaar, they want to sell you things, so they're going to be friendly, whether or not. If they think they can get your money. Be careful of crime.
Yes.
Since we have you, what museums are open in the city tomorrow?
They should all be open. The Topkapi Museum, the Palace, all of the churches should be open. If you want to see the sights, the Hippodrome is lovely. Much of the city is beautiful. There are gardens all around the palace that are very lovely. That's all over in Istanbul, down towards the point of at the end of the Golden Horn.
And I understand there's a local custom to be very friendly with cats. Is that so?
Yes, everybody loves cats. They don't like dogs very much. They think of dogs as being unclean. And the only public thing I should warn you about if you've never been here before is try not to show the bottoms of your feet. So when you sit cross-legged, don't lift your leg up. Keep your legs, cross your ankles, don't cross your legs.
Yes.
Considered very rude. And eat with your right hand. Keep your left hand down.
In my hunting journeys that I've been on, quite a few, big game hunter, there's several large established hunting lodges in Turkey. Might there be one nearby that I might have a contact at? Because I've definitely that's been my life for age.
I don't think in the city proper, but when you get outside the city walls, there might be some in that. There's some wooded areas.
Not like actually going to hunt, but like actual clubs that that have hunters reside at, and like a hunting club that would then plan out large safaris and hunting treks across the world.
Oh, well, I'm not exactly sure. I can do some research and see what I can find out for you.
Oh, thank you so much.
Is there anything else we can help you with? Uh-oh. I froze. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Yes. Do you know where the Imperial Ottoman Bank, where that is located also?
Yes, and he marks that on the for you as well.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. I think
right.
Dr. Kurz's suggestion of getting cleaned up is a good idea. Maybe that will help me my leg feel better and take my mind off of last night.
I think if we go to the place around the corner from here, there'll be English staff because English speaking.
And I'm not exactly sure what the hours or any of that stuff is. I know that hammamis usually have a period of the day where women can go and a period when men can go, and they don't mix. But I don't know if they're in the evening and the morning, whatever. We'll just assume that they're open.
Yeah.
And I won't give it a name in this case. It'll just be the Blue Hammami. All right. So when you arrive at the Hammami, the first area that you go into, you're going to be sort of instructed because you don't know the customs. You have to take off your shoes. You have to put on slippers to go inside. You put your clothes into lockers, and you either go naked with a towel or you probably can stay in your underwear. I don't know. You probably have boxers at this time of the world, what the kind of underwear you might have. You go through, you wash yourself off. They have sponges, and that's just to get the sweat off of you. And then you go into a large room, and it's a fairly circular room. And in the center of the room is this large, looks like a dais. It's shaped like an octagon, and it's large and it's flat, and it's made of marble. And the dome ceiling up above you has little holes poked in it that are shaped like stars, so that during the daytime, the light coming through looks like little stars all above you. It's very pretty. It's all made out of marble. And you find yourself a place on this slab in the middle, and you go there and lay down, and a young man dressed in a white robe will come up. He will scrub you down with lots of soap suds and rinse you off, and then he will proceed to give you a massage, which, because you're new to it, he gives you the option of how hard you want it, because they can really bury their elbows in you and give you a deep tissue massage, which to a lot of people who haven't done it before, it hurts. It's not comfortable, but you feel comfortable afterwards. So it's a whole new experience for you. And although it seems almost immodest, it's more modest than you thought that it was going to be. You know, there's no open nudity or anything like that. And the young guys that are doing it are very professional and so forth. And then afterwards, you wrap up, you rinse off, you wrap up, and then you're invited into a little room on the side of that where there's very comfortable chairs and little tables, and they serve you tea, sweet tea, for you to sit. And I will give you all a Constitution roll, and if you pass, you can regain some sanity. And
pass.
It's
So the thing
different
about
than what
rolling
you-
84s.
Ooh, 004.
It's different than what you're used to, but you do feel relaxed,
Mm-hmm.
like you're in civilization again. Though it's not your civilization, it feels like it's
And
civilized.
how much sanity recovery?
You can do 1d10 if you want.
Oh,
Ooh,
That
I
Constitution.
want.
Because you feel
4.
comfortable and safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. My right leg still hurts. So
My blasted head. That steam can't get in.
Don't worry about. Let him get in there, Dr. Neruda.
It's my skull. Only the Mimsy Heath could open the skull.
He tries massaging the back.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes about an hour and a half for all of that. No rush. There's no rush on any of it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to rush. And while you're in there, the other people in there, some of them are conversing, especially once they get to the little tables and they're sipping tea. A few of them might have broken out the chess set or backgammon.
Mm-hmm.
Love backgammon.
Oh yeah. And are these mostly European, Western Europeans?
A few Western Europeans, but there are also a lot of Turks.
Okay. I'll sit down to play a game of backgammon with someone.
Okay. And nobody seems in a hurry.
Right. Yeah.
Wonderful. A nice beverage and a game of backgammon.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say the guy that you're playing backgammon with doesn't speak any English, but backgammon is backgammon, so you know the rules.
I'll try a little German.
He just, occasionally glances up at you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So after about an hour and a half or so, you can go back in and get your clothes on and return to the hotel. You're probably getting hungry by now, even though you've seen horrors in the morning. Your stomach is probably asking for something.
Yeah, body still needs to be fed.
No rare meat though tonight,
Nothing bloody.
Or ever
Nothing.
again.
or ever again.
Get a kebab.
I don't know if I want to smell any smoked meat either, frankly. So
Yeah,
and
falafel.
falafel.
Falafel. That's
Well, the Parapalace will have European food, so they'll
Yeah, I
make sure
think
that
I think a French onion soup seems very
There we go. Soup and
soothing.
stuff.
no beet soup tonight.
Yeah.
No
All right.
tomato and mulligatawny.
So after your meal, we'll say it's about 8:30, 9 o'clock. What do you want to do? And what are your plans for tomorrow?
well, can't really go to the university tomorrow, I don't think.
Yeah, if it's closed, then yeah.
Unless
can't.
it's open on Sundays.
Probably open on Sunday.
Probably. Okay.
Yeah, kind of like how the keeper was implying. Friday and Saturday are really the down days, and
Okay,
The
so
Study
city is
group.
predominantly
Sunday,
Muslim. Yeah.
we can go to the university. I will start asking around if there's anybody that can assist with looking at particular religious texts that we believe are at a museum. We'll see if they help us or murder us.
Maybe we go
And
to
that's-
the Grand Bazaar to look for a local guide to help us with the foot traffic sort of things. And then we get the documents from the bank as soon as we possibly can. But they are probably useless to us until we have a translator. So the university seems the safer place for that.
what was the scroll of the head? What language was that written in? Because we were able to read that.
Yeah, Whitting. I can't remember what his name was all of a sudden. He had it translated from
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Persian, ancient Persian.
Okay.
It was a mixture of Persian and Turkish, but obviously from 1,000 years ago,
Yeah. Okay.
nearly 1,000. So yeah, you're going to have to find somebody who's an expert on translation for those things.
Probably the university for that too. So that'll probably be logically one of our first stops then.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to find someone who not local who's an expert in these languages, because the translation might be easier if we find a Western European scholar who studies the material. Yeah, we'll see what they have. Who's available.
All right, so you're going to go back to your hotel? Oh, you're
Yeah.
at the hotel.
Yeah.
That's where you're eating.
Right.
French onion soup.
And then you end up going back up to your rooms. And in the process, you realize how very tired you are.
Oh yeah.
You've been hunting vampires all night. It's been more than 24 hours now since you last slept. And I will say that you simply have a fairly good restful sleep. The beds are soft, the rooms are well accommodated, and it is now Sunday, so you can do your refresh on all of your stats. Once that you failed miserably, which I think there were quite a few of them by this point.
Oh, 0-1 for my fighting brawl, which means it does not improve.
In fact, with an 01, I'm sure it's going to go down.
Yeah.
Got this.
09 for my spot hidden. Yeah, wow, this is off to a fantastic start.
Come on. Good.
Ooh, stealth went up by 9.
Good.
Do we gotta try and improve our luck?
Darn it.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Oh,
sweet.
really? Come on, fail. Please fail.
And your
Fail.
sanity.
Failed that. Ooh, 88. Sweet.
I passed every single one.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm half sane again.
Nice.
I did pass the dex roll for the Sedefkar curse, so
Mm-hmm.
at least the passing everything
Yeah.
was consistent across the board.
Pick up this book. Hmm. And finally, my Sedefkar rolls here.
I'm a slightly better brawler than I was before.
Okay, 77 on my 70. Oh, darn. Only up by
Ugh, I got a little nausea. Maybe you're right. That kebab meat was a bad choice last night.
Yeah. Oops, darn it. Phooey.
I improved my stealth and my throw.
Nice.
Ooh, 78. There's a nice. Okay, so fail. Up 4, spot hidden. Nice. Oops, come on.
I have improved to be half sane and half lucky.
Nice.
So I'm now Two-Face.
Mm-hmm.
So as you continue to write those things down, you get up in the morning. There's a fairly nice breakfast that's served. And you guys are ready to go by 8 o'clock in the morning.
Excellent. Mm. Okay.
Is it the bank first thing then?
I mean, until we get a or do we want to see what language these scrolls are in?
Yeah, it's
Because
hard to
until
get
we
a translator for scrolls you don't know what language they're in.
Yeah, so maybe we'll try and look at them. But yeah,
If we're fortunate, they'll all be in the same mishmash as the other. And we'll only have to have one confederate. And hopefully that individual won't lose too much of their reason while they assist us. Maybe it would be more lucky if they were all in different languages.
Hmm.
But yeah. Who shall we say is Smythe's representative? Or do you think it matters? We have the number, his name.
Yeah. I can be that. I don't have any contacts in the academic world, so I don't mind taking the lead at the bank.
Shall we then go 2 to the bank and 2 to the university?
Sure.
Or stay together?
I think, how far apart are they?
I feel like
Keeper?
we should stay together. I don't care if they're right next door to each other. I think we should stay together.
Well, yeah.
I'm familiar with big banks, so I'll definitely go there.
Yeah. If we have a sudden street attack, if they have anticipated us, it will be wise for us to have fought together. What are the regulations regarding personal arms in Constantinople?
I have a shoulder holster, so that should be.
You'll find, like in some of the other places, the wealthy don't have any restrictions on what they're, of course, you can get anything you want in the Grand Bazaar. So there's people that have knives and weapons. It's like the Wild West.
I want to get one of those beautiful Turkish shotguns. Those things are...
But if you're caught with a weapon and you are a criminal, you're going to have your hands cut off, probably. Yeah. But if you're a rich person and you're caught with a gun, they'd probably go, shrug their shoulders. The Imperial University is number 2.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other place? The Top Copy
bank.
Museum. Oh, the bank. The bank's not actually on here.
Yeah.
We'll say that it's also in that general area.
Oh, God.
It makes sense. Okay.
So it looks like the university and the Top Copy Museum are about a mile apart, and the bank is somewhere in between.
Okay.
The streets are small, so it's all walking distance in there.
Perfect.
Gentlemen, once you finish breakfast, I'm ready to go. My stomach's very queasy, so I might just have a piece of dry toast to see if I can get some of this acid absorbed.
All right. So do you want to walk? Do you want to get... Oh, you can't walk. Yeah, you'd have to get a cab or something. Without too much difficulty, you get a cab. The Parapalace makes sure that you have somebody there who can drive you. And he's going to take you to, you said, the bank.
The bank first, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So he drives you more or less into the heart of Constantinople. You're near the big giant minarets and the mosques and the palace and all that. They're all like within half a mile of where you are. So they sort of loom up over everything. The weather is good. It's sunny and it's warmer than you were expecting, considering all the cold that you've gone through. That's nice. It's Mediterranean sort of climate. And you get to the bank. The bank is open today. And as you go inside, it's one of those marble affairs, very professional European-looking bank. There's a few other people in here, and now you notice that there's nobody in here dressed in robes or turbans, or it's all people who are Europeans that are getting stuff. You stand in line and you get up to the front, and the man behind the desk is like, yes, may I help you?
Yes, I was needing to get into a safety deposit box, box 51332.
And who is this for?
I am Gunter Block. I have my ID. It should have been made a deposit by a Smythe. And he should have left my name as one of the people that has access to the box.
So he looks through his paperwork and he says, yes, will you please sign here? You sign there, and then he says, follow me, please. These others are with you?
Yes, they are.
Okay. So he takes you all, follow him, and you go into a little side room. The room is very simple. There's a table in the center. There's some chairs, and he has you wait there, and he goes into the vault, and after a few minutes, he comes back out with a box. It's about, it's a rectangular about like that. The lid opens like this. He places it in front of you and unlocks it, and then he gives you a little bow, and he leaves so that you have privacy. and he closes the door. So you're secluded, you're private.
All right. Open her up.
Take a
So you
look at what
open
horrors
up-
await.
You open up the box, and inside are two what look like they look like tubes made of wood. They're very plain, and they have little pull lids on them. Not fancy at all, but the kind that you would hold a scroll in.
Okay.
You open them and you pull out what looks like the scrolls, and everybody do say a spot.
Only had it.
Ooh, that is an extreme success.
Okay.
I have an 08 as well. Thursby, we are on the spot.
So for Thursby and for Dr. Kurz, immediately you sort of get this skeptical feeling, because it's not really what you expected at all. They're definitely two scrolls. They're definitely written on both sides with some sort of Persian script. But they're not like the one that you already have. The one that you already have is written on skin, and it's written in blood. These two look like, you can't read them, but they are also missing all of the illuminated illustrations of
gruesome
mangled
acts.
bodies, and
Like possible copies, then basically.
or maybe Smythe got the wrong things, or maybe he thought that's what he was getting from somebody's collection, but in fact this is something else. They just they're not even close to what you thought they would be. Like they were written by a completely different person.
If you ask me, Thursby, these scrolls aren't even evil.
At first I was thinking these just might be copies of them, but you're thinking it's not even a copy of the original then.
Without a translation, of course, it will be difficult to assess them, but I think we should treat them as suspect. We should take them, and perhaps this will help us determine who at the university can be of assistance to us. But I don't think I want to recite any of these in a cave without ascertaining that the material is correct.
Gunther, you have clearance to access this box. Maybe you can ask if someone has signed in or signed out the box to access it recently. Maybe an imposter's come in and swapped them out.
I don't know whether they go through the trouble of swapping them out.
Well, I mean, just wondering if maybe somebody came in. It couldn't hurt.
Yeah,
It's true.
Okay.
It's true. Well, apparently it never hurt anyone.
I mean, they'll have the access log, and they'll, I have every right to see who has access this. I mean, and besides, Smythe obviously didn't put these here because he wouldn't enter the city, so it could be someone, whoever put these here could be a contact that we talk to. So
it's also easy to surmise that Smythe himself may never have seen the actual scrolls.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So he was just guessing.
So
whoever
been lied to.
Whoever.
I will close the box, put it back into whatever the procedures is for putting a safety deposit back. I don't actually know what it is, and then I'll ask the the gentleman that helped me if I can see the access log to the box.
Yes, of course. He shows you the script, the sign when they were deposited, and they were deposited for Arthur J. Smythe by someone else.
And I'll write that name down.
I'm not sure there is another name.
Oh, it just says it was deposited for.
Yeah, it just says for A.J. Smith.
And what day?
That doesn't make sense, does it? Okay, so there is. We'll say James Beddoes.
James Beddoes.
That makes sense.
Okay.
That's a name we haven't heard in a long time.
Aha, James Beddoes.
And how long ago were these scrolls deposited?
Less than a week.
Okay.
Aha.
Feels like so long ago we translated that telegram. So, but, a lot's happened with killing vampires and everything. Okay.
Time moves differently inside the game.
True. All right.
It's been less than a month since this started.
Okay. I'll thank him. And
yeah. And you just leave the box on the table if you're going to take the scrolls, and then he'll put it away.
Okay, cool.
He'll sign it for the next person. Now it's empty. All right.
Oh, we're good. Yeah. Okay.
So you have those scrolls, and you leave. What next?
I think we're going to the university.
Whatever's closer. University.
So you get to the university, and there are no classes going on today. Most of the professors are not there. However, the university library is open, and it is a 4-story. It's actually 3 stories up and 1 story down the ground. And they have a huge collection of books. They boast that they have almost as many books as the British Library. And it's very beautiful inside, beautiful windows above. It's been very spectacular. However, they have very simple protocol. They've got a lot of documents, a lot of ancient things, a lot of stuff like that. So you have to have access to it, and you have to have somebody with gloves on, I guess. However, there's a large research area. The second obstacle that you've run into is that 90% of everything is in French. And there is Turkish, but most of it is in French.
Good thing I'm fluent in French.
Is there anything that you wanted to research while you were at the library?
Well, we should probably look into anything about this mosque, right? There's, if we recall from Smythe's letter to us forever ago, and yeah, there's the Perilikami abandoned mosque. That's where
Go ahead and do a library.
11.
Nice.
That is an extreme success.
So with that extreme success, you find out 2 things. One thing is there's no mosque with that particular name. But you also find out that there are at least 450 mosques in Constantinople.
What about we're looking for a different approach, not by name, but by age, because this is pre-Islam, pre-Christianity, Smythe said.
There's obviously no mosques that are pre-Islam. There are towers and temples and churches and everything, but no particular way to know which one is which.
Well,
The city is literally
I
filled with
see
religious
that we're gonna
mosques.
have a problem.
Yeah. Hmm.
Is there any record about the Brotherhood of the Skin, or they have the account from the 1890s, the Blood Red Fez account. They were set up shop in a monastery. Is there any information on that?
The text was that they were set up in a kind of a fort or an
Something
old castle.
outside town.
Yeah, if you are going back through the journal, you find that it was located on the other side of the Bosporus in Uskadar. And at this time, there's no bridge going across. They didn't build the bridge until, I think, 1970s. But you'd have to take a ferry over there if you wanted to search for it. And then it could be, once again, it could be anywhere. And you're not exactly sure.
I'm not particularly keen on searching for them. I just wanted to know if there's separation between us, or if they were like right here.
Do another library roll to see if you find anything.
Ooh, this is a 12. Or really
12, very good.
Really a precise.
Yeah.
So you're looking through, you're trying to find anything that mentions the Brothers of the Skin, or any kind of organization like that. But you don't find anything in particular. You do find references to criminal cults, and what they called cannibal cults. And there's at least one reference that says that they would gather sometimes in old abandoned mosques. You had a really good roll. So one of them at least says a ruined mosque of roseate tincture.
Oh.
Roseate.
That's something to go off of, at least.
Yeah, and the conflict in the tower with the figure wearing the simulacrum. Wasn't there a square or public space with a fountain or well in it? And the tower was near the edge of the city. So if we cross the horn and find a place that looks like this, several towers high, if that's what we're looking for, that location.
Where the Crusaders encountered Sedefkar?
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yes.
I thought he was just set up in a tower, not a religious building, but I don't know.
Well,
it could all be the same place. That is true.
And there was
You still have all of those documents with you.
Yeah.
Though granted, you don't carry them around with you; they're probably in your trunks. But yeah, you do recall that it said something about a red tower.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then there was that
So yeah,
those islands that in the 1890s there were the islands that had a
Princess Islands.
yeah.
That's out in the Sea of
so
Marmara.
yeah, the Red Tower. Where was it? Tincture.
Hmm.
Any other things you want to look at in the?
Well, should we ask the librarian if she knows anyone that would be able to translate these scrolls? I mean,
So I will go. Yeah, I will go introduce myself. I'm Dr. Gabriel Neruda. I am a professor at Miskatonic University.
What can I help you find?
I am here on research sabbatical, and I have been trying to find any references that I can. I'm writing a paper on an obscure religious cult, and I have come across a few materials, and I'm looking to see if there's anybody here that could help me translate them or facilitate getting in contact with a museum here locally that I think has other documents that I need for my research.
Oh, it sounds like you need somebody who's somewhat of a specialist. Yeah, the museum, the university might have someone. If you're talking about Turkish, then you can literally find any scribe that should be able to help you with that. There's you might not need an expert. I mean, how old are the pieces that you were trying to translate? I'm not really an expert, but
They are the date of origin is it's difficult. All I know is that they are pre-Islam.
oh wow. Then you're talking Persian. Um, I'm sure that there are people in the bazaar who would speak Persian as well. It's still a fairly common language. Or university, or yeah, museum maybe not so much. That's not really what they do know in research, but I mean, sure, somebody there will speak Persian. But here, no, I don't think so. I mean, you might have some people that could be Persian, but could be anyone. We're just librarians.
Hmm.
But yes, if it's the funny script, then yeah, it's Persian or Turkish.
Oh, that is very helpful. Thank you.
Hmm.
So, at the university, we might be able to find a graduate student who we could bribe with lunch and money. Translate these scrolls for us. If not a professor.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. She's the librarian wasn't the first person to mention that someone at the bazaar could help us. So, maybe
The Not the first person who's mentioned that somebody at the bazaar can help us, but everybody else has been saying that if we bringing things to the bazaar, we might not leave with them, so to speak.
yeah.
But I don't know how much of that is just classism.
Well,
Probably
you
a lot
guys
of it.
do recall
It's
your
not the first-
experience.
Yeah. Having been attacked once in a public place over an arm that wasn't even of any value, we must be mindful.
What?
Well,
I assume that the security at Tokapi is somewhat mindful, valuable objects and whatnot. So since I wish to pick up some weapon potentially at the bazaar, maybe we visit Topkapi first and get at least the lay of the land of the place. See if we can find anyone to introduce ourselves to, that sort of thing. Smythe thought that they would not be on display, so we'll need to speak to somebody, but since the university today is not very active, maybe we find a person that is willing to communicate at the palace itself.
It's not that far from here, so can't hurt to try.
it's a while. Yeah.
We might be visiting several times after all, so
Yeah.
just to familiarize ourselves, it's not a bad idea, I think.
All right.
Okay. So you head on over. You walk through the town. Once again, you pass a lot of beautiful churches. You pass a lot of things, and you arrive at what very much looks like a palace, not in the European style, but there's a little bit of something about it that reminds you of the backs of Mimi, the beautiful windows, the archways, that sort of arabesque style. And I'll show you a picture of the top copy museum and the gardens around it.
Oh, nice.
Very pretty. And when you get inside, you can see that there's a lot of things on display. There are old documents, old illuminated manuscripts, and a lot of beautiful things. You notice also there seems to be a predominance, as you've been here in Constantinople, of things decorated with mother of pearl. They take little pieces and they make geometric patterns on the furniture and on the walls, and very intricate mathematical designs, because in general the Muslims do not use animals or people in their art. They use mathematical geometry to make beautiful things. That's what you see a lot of. So you enter into the Topkapi Museum, and there are people who are looking at things as you enter. What would you like to do?
Well, we'll try this old song and dance again.
Okay. The people that you speak to inside are either guards or they are older people that work there in the rooms to explain things to the people who are tourists. But when you mentioned the scrolls, they don't know what you're talking about. You'd have to talk to one of the directors or.
Okay, well, I will
somebody.
pester them until that happens.
Okay. Why don't you do a luck?
35 is looking pretty lucky to me.
Okay.
Yes.
So after you are there maybe half an hour or so, they've alerted one of the directors, and one of the directors comes out and he introduces himself. I am Professor Garo Azap, and I am one of the directors. What can I do for you? You said that I was told you had some interesting requests.
Yes, sorry, I am Dr. Gabriel Neruda, Miskatonic. I'm here, yada, yada, yada. I was told that in your collection, though not necessarily on display, you have scrolls pertaining to rites and practices of an obscure religious sect, pre-Islam, pre-Christianity.
Well, we have a lot of things like that. He looks at you now this is a Turkish man. He looks at you very skeptically. Like, who are you? You know. He says, yes, those things aren't on display.
I was wondering if it would be possible to schedule a consultation to look at those documents.
Well, what precisely do you want to look at?
Well, these scrolls are known by numerous names. There's one in particular, the most common is a Sedefkar.
He looks at you once again very skeptically. Do a persuade.
50. My persuade is 20.
Can we lend a hand helping? Can we?
Yeah, you can lend a hand.
Oh, no, my persuade.
We need somebody with the Riz, and that is not me.
I'm gonna try and maybe fast talk him. I'll get out the scrolls we got out of the safety deposit box, and my colleague's interest in these scrolls is we're trying to authenticate whether we have found some other old texts that would be related to this. We're trying to, we want to restore collections, get collections back together where they should be instead of being scattered all over the world. And we're not sure if we have if we're on the right track. Are these the scrolls that would go into your collection, or are we needing to go find another place, or could these possibly be fakes also?
Well, let me see your scrolls.
Yeah, I of course hand it over to him.
He opens the top on it and begins to pull it out, but he's looking more at you than anything else. You can sort of feel that he's not really accepting anything that you're saying. He pulls it out and he opens it up and he says, and you think that these are old?
We think those might be reproductions of some very significant older texts, but they do not match other items that we have recovered, and so we are suspicious.
No, these are definitely not old. Maybe 20 or 30 years old. And he hands them back to you. He says, I'm sorry. I'm afraid, we don't just let anyone look at the things that we have. You said you're from a university, but
yes, Miskatonic University.
I have no way of actually verifying anything like that. Perhaps I'm sorry, I can't help you.
But you can verify it by simply contacting any of the staff there. These professors have come quite a distance.
Unless you have papers or something with strong indication of that. I really can't be bothered to make a intercontinental phone call.
If there's a question of expense of any kind, of course, understand that we shall.
Oh, you're trying to bribe me now. No, I'm afraid that what you're asking is fairly impossible.
We're not trying to bribe.
We're asking to look at something in your collection. We're academics. I don't know what it is that's the holdup. I've spent the last month traveling across Europe for this, and
you can attempt another persuade, but
or I'm almost ready.
24. I'm going to spend 4 points of luck.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Do you have any names that are familiar to me, or
we've worked with I'm going to start listing off people we've talked to at the Library Nationale of Paris, the people and the guy who helped us out, and
and the guy that got killed, and
yep, guy who got murdered by his friend over a knife. Yeah, that guy.
So with those name drops, some of which he recognizes, he's like, well, follow me. I can let you glance at them, but I can't really, let you handle them or examine them for any great length of time. We don't put such things on display because, quite honestly, they represent a part of the past of our people that is embarrassing. We're all good, honest Muslims, and this is a very upsetting pagan past, quite barbaric. But he's talking as you're going, and he takes you into a room with a lot of drawers, and he's looking along the drawers, and he finds the one that he wants, and he pulls out a key and he unlocks it. And he says, I can give you 5 minutes. And he unlocks it and he pulls it open. And inside there are 4 tubes. But these tubes look like they are made out of mother of pearl. They are carved intricately with designs. The designs themselves are somewhat disturbing. There's definitely some decapitation going on there and things like that. He says they're quite gruesome. He says, but these are the scrolls here. Let me get that. He pulls down a clipboard or something and says, here you can. Which one will you represent? You have need to sign in.
I'll sign.
So sign out. I'll give you 5 minutes. Please wear gloves.
Of course.
How big is this room? Is this room deep within the facility, or is it near a courtyard or outside? Are there windows?
It's more of almost like an archive, so it's fairly narrow, and there were multiple pathways, and it's almost floor to ceiling shelves, drawers, but maybe only 4 feet, 5 feet wide, but it's long. And,
so no windows into this room?
No, not here.
Yes.
The room that led to here, were there any windows?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, now I'm just starting to case out the place just in case we have to come back.
All right. It would be hard to get into this place. The windows are not very big, and they've
not
got
meant to open.
a lot of stuff in them, like bars and curly
Oh,
cues.
wow. Oh, this is like a fort. Oh, okay.
Well, it was the palace. It was the Topkapi palace.
These windows don't open and close for the fresh air. These are
for light.
lead.
So he stands back and lets you look. Who wants to?
I'll look at them, even if
Yeah, I mean,
Persian.
I feel like Thursby and I also had success looking at the other ones and recognizing them for what they were.
All right. So, Dr. Gabriel, you reach down and you pick up the first one, and as you're picking up the thing, you realize that there is what looks like a left arm on in the motif of the case. You pull the top off of it and you tilt it so the scroll falls out, and it's empty. There's no scroll inside of it.
I'll say that as soon as you say that, the the gentleman that is, he's still in the room with us.
Yes, he's behind you, over towards the wall. Professor Azap. Yes.
Professor Azap, one of these scroll cases is empty.
Oh, what? And he comes over and looks, and indeed, it's missing. He immediately reaches for the second one. He's got gloves on, and pulls it off. This one has a torso as the motif on it, and opens it up, and there's nothing inside of it.
They've beaten us to it.
Dirty. Grabs the third one and opens it, and a piece of parchment falls out of it, but it's not the scroll.
Oh, this is going to be somebody who's like, this is like the other thing where somebody left a note being like, this is too blasphemous, so I moved it.
What is written on that piece of parchment is,
I owe you 4 Sedefkar school.
You good.
It's this.
Let's see here.
Oh, yeah.
And he looks down at it, and in great shock, he translates it.
The skinless one reclaims what is his. Cursed be Garazuet, the thief, for his treachery.
Garaznet.
Garaznet.
Oh, isn't the professor?
No.
Oh, okay, that's right. Okay.
And he says, "What on earth is this?" He opens up the final one, and it's also gone. They're all
How long ago were these checked? How long has it been since anybody's looked at these?
Oh, well, for a long time. You look at, he looks down at the place where you signed in, and the name just above yours is Suleiman Malfikat.
Oh, God.
Suleiman Malfikat.
And the date on it is 1830.
Oh. Oof. These have been gone for a long fucking time.
Professor Azap, does this name Garaznet mean anything to you?
There is a scholar, a famous scholar, minorly famous, is buried in the big cemetery over in Ushkadar. Other than that, the name means nothing to me. But I have to report this immediately. No.
Of course,
And there's a little bit of hullabaloo. You guys are, of course, searched.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that you didn't pilfer them while he was standing right there in front of you watching. One needs to be very careful. But you are then almost immediately asked to leave. I'm sorry, the date on Suleiman Malfakat was 1823.
1823.
Which in the Blood Red Fez, that was 1890.
Yeah.
And he was still kicking.
Mm.
He's not described as an old man, but as the head of the Brotherhood of the
Well, it
Steel.
looks like we're gonna have to go to exactly where it was. I did not want to fucking go.
Yeah.
That's Suleiman the Red.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just making sure I've got the
Mhm.
connection in my head here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jeez.
Are supposed to be 6 scrolls? No?
No, 5. There are only
Oh,
5.
5. Okay.
And you
The
have one.
arms.
We have 1.
Because the scroll, there's the scroll of the legs, plural.
Yeah.
Very confusing. Sedefka
Yeah.
was not fond of consistency.
Order. Yeah.
Yeah. No Dewey Decibels was that guy.
Jerk. Huh.
So, I will like to thank Professor Azap for his assistance, while also pointing out that we have assisted him by pointing out this long-standing criminal issue. And then we make it to the Grand Bazaar. I could definitely have a couple of Turkish coffees on the way.
Yeah, like that too.
And he's kind of like all done with niceties at this point. He's in almost a panic because somebody broke in here and stole. Well, of course, he doesn't suspect the guy from 1823. But
Yeah.
That's because he is a fool.
I mean, if he
Or a
has,
rational person.
if
That's
he's never,
100
if
years
he's
old.
never, yeah, I mean, if he's never checked it, they could have been gone before he was even curator. If the last time someone looked at these was 100 years ago.
It's literally 100 years ago.
Yeah. So.
All right, so you leave, and you said you were going to go to the Grand Bazaar. And I think that that's a good spot. We'll leave that then for next week. Grand Bazaar. Because we've only got 7 minutes left. All right. Our players included Morgan Llewellyn, David Gasway, Stuart Lively, Keith Craig, with yours truly as the keeper of arcane lore. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members. You can set up private games. You can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Spotify, Podbean, or iTunes. Support for the show is provided by our patrons who are listed in the closing credits. If you'd like to join them, please visit our Patreon page listed in the description. Or you can use Super Thanks by hitting the buttons just below the screen. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.